How's it going, guys? My name is Franco and welcome back to the channel. Today we're finally going to be going over the Cronos Unburn, or the Crypto.com token Unburn, where they're basically minting a lot of different tokens. So it's quite an interesting proposal that's been put forward. It's had a lot of people very bearish, a lot of people very bullish. So we're just going to go over what we know today. What we do know is not a lot. This was announced, you can see, on March 3rd, so about 4 days ago now. And there's really not a whole lot of information available. I've tried to sort of hold off until we get more information on it, instead of just reporting, on the very first day and not knowing a lot. But not a lot more has come out, so we're just going to report on it anyway. And if you guys do enjoy this sort of content, remember to hit that subscribe button. We are pushing for 1,000 subs, hopefully this year, so that would be much appreciated. We do a whole bunch of different things. We cover different exchanges, what is going on. You can see we got our yearly reviews on a bunch of different exchanges, Visa cards for Crypto.com, monthly analysis. We got the whole shebang going. So if you guys do enjoy this sort of content, please do feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below. We got referrals into the description, the whole shebang. But let's just jump straight into the new golden age for Cronos. So what does this mean exactly? So we'll just go through this and then I'll sort of summarize it briefly. So the state of CRO today: since its inception, CRO has continuously evolved in tandem with the transformation of Crypto.com and the Cronos ecosystem through several revolutionary milestones. At its genesis, CRO was designed as a unified gateway to consolidate the benefits of Crypto.com and also the secure network for the then nascent Cronos proof of stake chain, which was the first foundational step in establishing the Cronos chain ecosystem. Okay, yada yada, it doesn't really matter. This stuff isn't too important. But in November, Cronos unveiled a bold new vision, to become the primary blockchain for AI agents, a transformative vision that positions Cronos at the forefront of onboarding billions of users in crypto. Simultaneously, Crypto.com announced the ambitious roadmap aimed at bridging the gap between crypto and traditional finance by launching groundbreaking initiatives, including ETFs backed by CRO, or the Cronos ETF, which they did announce in the roadmap that would hopefully be coming Q4 of this year. So we'll have to wait and see how that travels. These efforts are designed to break down barriers that reach an even broader audience, encompassing retail and institutional investors. CRO lies at the heart of both of these monumental efforts. Then, as the ecosystem evolves, CRO will play a pivotal role as the central economic engine, driving adoption and enabling seamless integration for the next generation of crypto users. So basically, Crypto.com, they have ambitious goals to, basically expand Crypto.com and the Cronos token as far as wide as possible. Obviously, things like the ETF are massive for bringing in institutional demand. Crypto.com's goal has always been to try and sort of blur the line between, sort of everyday life, everyday retail, and what crypto can offer. And they do that with those sort of things with their pay features, with their Visa cards, those different type of things that you use on your everyday. But then you're also incorporating crypto into that. That's sort of where they're trying to blur the lines. If they were able to, get an ETF or, become a part of a crypto's US strategic reserve, right? That would legitimize the token. That would make it easier to, onboard retail, onboard new users. I don't know a lot about, the whole AI agents and all that shit. I don't think, maybe it's a big thing, maybe it's not. Only time will tell. But using those different things to sort of bring on retail, bring on real world use cases, that's always sort of been their goal. But we continue investing in the world capital of crypto. One of the most exciting parts of the roadmap is connecting CRO to institutional liquidity pools through Cronos ETFs. That's what we're talking about. So the Bitcoin ETF in the US has been the fastest growing ETF of all time, attracting more than USD 100 billion since its launch in January. Securing a position among the top 10 protocols and achieving US ETF approval will be essential to drive institutional adoption of CRO. So obviously, having an ETF is only a net positive, because then you have, essentially just the option for people to invest in CRO, institutional money to come into CRO if they feel it suits. Making America the world capital of crypto will ensure the successful execution of the Cronos roadmap. Hence, we are proposing the community vote in the creation of a Cronos strategic reserve, a reversal of the 2021 token burn to support this ambition. Introduction of Cronos strategic reserve. Oh my god, I'm getting my words mixed up. In 2021, 70 billion CRO was burnt in one of the most significant burn transactions in history. Under today's proposal, an equal amount of tokens will be reissued on the Cronos POS, proof of stake, in order into a Cronos strategic reserve escrow wallet, bringing the total supply back to the initial supply of 100 billion CRO. The Cronos strategic reserve escrow wallet will operate under strict control mechanisms. The strategic reserve escrow wallet will be subject to a new 5-year lockup on top of the 5-year lockup that has already passed since Crow's original issuance on Ethereum, bringing the total vesting period to 5 years. Vesting will be applied linearly every month and managed via the native Cosmos SDK vesting. But basically what they're talking about here is, where did I just scroll up too far? I think I did. But unburning 70 billion tokens. So obviously there was that massive burn in 2021 where they burnt 70 billion tokens, bringing the total supply down to 30. And the idea of that was to make the token, more scarce and more decentralized, making it more valuable, hopefully. But you can clearly see that, obviously they want to undo that to basically unlock some funds in order to push themselves into the US in some regard, making a Cronos strategic reserve, possibly using these funds to service different things, whatever it might be, whatever their ambitions are. That's what the idea is at the moment. What I read in this is that basically they want more funding in order to grow CRO, in order to grow crypto.com. And the best way to do that is to essentially raise, just like in businesses, how you issue stock, in order to gain investment, and then you obviously give a portion of that basically giving a portion of your company away as people buy the stocks. It's the same where you're giving out CRO, and then people invest in that, and then you can utilize that as you see fit. Now, of course, the problem with this is that it is minted essentially out of thin air, and the liquidity is basically going to be coming largely on the back of current holders, which is obviously something to acknowledge. But the argument here is that, which we can't answer now, we probably won't know until the next 5 to 10 years, is that if the $70 billion mint, if those funds are used correctly and they are able to grow Cronos, if they are able to develop a Cronos strategic reserve, if Cronos is incorporated in the US strategic reserve, if Cronos gets an ETF, if we see price pump significantly and I guess continuously from this point, it will be seen as a success. But if nothing comes of this, and ultimately it ends up just being a large, I guess, rug pull or whatever you want to call it, then obviously it'll be very bad. I think it'd be the end of the CRO token as we know it, essentially. But I don't have the answers right now. I don't know what exactly the plan is. Only time will tell. And it is important to note that these will be locked up for a period of time. So the other important thing is the unlock of these tokens, or the vesting periods, whatever you want to call them. Basically, it's every month or every 30.4 days. New tokens are going to be unlocked. So I think this 5-year, 70 billion, will be basically chopped up between every month. So whatever that is, 512 to 60 over 70 billion, it might be like 1 billion tokens a month are unlocked and utilized however they see fit, right? It's hard to sort of determine, but yeah, so every 30 days more tokens will be unlocked. It'll probably be about a billion, because as I said, if you just do 512s, 5 years, 12 months in a year, 60 months, you need to distribute 70 billion tokens over 60 months, it'll be just over 1 billion each month. So yes, so 1 billion CRO being issued each and every month from whenever this is approved, I presume. However that works, whatever they do with those funds, not too sure at the moment. So this was announced, as we said, on March 3rd. Chris, the CEO of crypto.com, came out with quite a grey tweet. Cronos allocates 5 billion stockpile to make America the capital of crypto. So I think we'll get to it, but I think that did sort of cause the major pump. You can see at about 12 p.m. On the 3rd, CRO pumped to about 10 cents, which is unsurprisingly, major resistance, as we've spoken about quite a bit on this channel. But then when they came out and said, well, that $5 billion is going to be freshly minted out of thin air, obviously the price dropped quite considerably. And then all we've gotten since then is another cryptic tweet. Building sustainable flows on the demand side is essential to long-term success in the altcoin market. Multiple irons in the fire on this front. People who do not agree on this do not agree that this is the right approach. There we go. Are free to vote and free to sell. We will stay laser focused on building towards new all-time highs. So of course this did have to go through a voting process through the crypto.com network. It was approved, I believe, despite most of the validators voting no. Crypto.com do hold a large portion of all the CRO tokens, so they voted yes for this. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? They seem to be laser focused on building towards new all-time highs. Yes, you do need to build sustainable flows on the demand side in the long term, but I guess you're just putting your faith in this Chris guy at this point in time, the CEO, and that's all we have for it at this stage. And I was going to come on here and talk about, just searching the CRO token in Twitter and looking at the sentiment. The sentiment was so bad on the 3rd. This whole period here, the sentiment just got worse and worse and worse. It was quite incredible. But now, as you guys, if you just scroll through, you can see it's actually sort of flipped. Now that, for whatever reason, the price is going back up. We didn't really break any lows. It was sort of a quick pump and dump. And since then, it has recovered most of those losses. In fact, it's, week on week, it has gained quite a bit. You can see the community sentiment. I would have imagined that was quite the other way just a few days ago. Obviously Chris has been at the White House meeting Trump or doing whatever they do with regards to crypto. But if we went back a few days ago, I mean, you only have to read through some of these comments, and you could tell that the community was obviously, not very happy with this move, but time will tell, right? Same thing again. That's all I can really say at this stage. But the other thing that has happened in just the last 24 hours, which does possibly change the outlook for this CRO token and this whole, strategic reserve and whatever they're talking about, is that the US is establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and US digital asset stockpile. So this isn't a long read, so we'll just chip through this quickly. Creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. Today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve and US digital asset stockpile, positioning the United States as a leader among nations in government digital asset strategy. The order creates a strategic Bitcoin reserve that will treat Bitcoin as a reserve asset. The strategic Bitcoin reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the Department of Treasury that was forfeited as a part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. Other agencies will evaluate their legal authority to transfer any Bitcoin owned by those agencies to the strategic reserve. The United States will not sell Bitcoin deposited into the reserve. So this is a big one here. The Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, provided that those strategies impose no incremental cost on American taxpayers. I'd also establish a US digital stockpile consisting of digital assets other than Bitcoin owned by the Department of Treasury that was forfeited in criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. The government will not acquire additional assets for the US digital asset stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. The Secretary of Treasury may determine strategies for responsible stewardship, including potential sales from the US digital stockpile. I would say that's all the important stuff. And the big one is that firstly, where am I reading? I've got to find where I was going before. Is that the way the US government is going to be, essentially acquiring Bitcoin is budget neutral. So that's a bit of a grey thing to say, right? It's not, going out and buying Bitcoin with US taxpayer dollars, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're not gonna, possibly sell other assets, or whatever it might be, however they whatever they consider budget neutral. But at this point in time, there won't be any buying pressure coming in for Bitcoin, and it is the same with the digital asset stockpile, and same with the digital asset stockpile, where basically they're not going to be looking to buy any, but they will be stockpiling it. So maybe some of this CRO that is being minted will go into this in order to basically, I don't know, get on the good side of the Trump administration. Whatever the plan is, things are looking good for cryptocurrencies as a whole. The White House is far more on board with cryptos and with holding cryptos, and basically making a more friendly environment for it. So that can only be a good thing. Whether this mint is a good thing or not, as I said, only time will tell. The Cronos price is painting an interesting picture. Of course, the last month has been quite ragged, but since this announcement, price has actually improved. So maybe it is a good thing. Maybe that's what investors are seeing at this point in time. We'll have to see what happens with the strategic reserves, and what exactly comes of the CRO that is being minted. But that is all I've got for today, guys. There's not a lot of information on this, as I said, but it is worth keeping an eye on. It's going to shape CRO for this bull cycle one way or the other. So we'll wait and see. If you guys do enjoy this content, if you want to be kept up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you do enjoy this sort of content. Make sure to comment down below, and also go to the video descriptions. Check out a whole bunch of different referral links if you are looking to sign up to any exchanges or whatever it might be. But that is all, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.